Hello, welcome to the Mystical Institute of Healing Arts. My name is Alicia McNaughton and I will be your host today. I invite you to get comfortable, light a candle. We're going to be burning some of this Palo Santo from an ethical farm called Ecuadorian Hands, where they harvest this from dead trees. And they also replant. Today we're going to be working with the Koto Kuna Karpay Rite, which is a Pleiadian activation. And it is an extension of the Monarchy. And it comes after the first 9 rites that came through from the Amazon when Alberto Villoldo studied with the medicine men in Peru. These came through 2 different channels. So initially I heard about it from Bridget Rao, and she had a download after she received the Monarchy rites and the rites to come, which opened her up to receive more rites directly from Spirit as a channel, and was getting this download to bring in an initiation to each of the 7 stars lined up with each of the 7 chakras. And she thought she was getting a new download until she looked it up after Spirit told her this is right. And she went and looked it up and found out that this had already been done, and it was called the Koto Kuna Karpay Rite. And when she wrote down everything, she went and took her notes and compared it to what was already out there, and they were the same. So Spirit will do that. Spirit will bring through downloads to more than one channel, and that's what happened with this rite. So if you want to get a copy of this handout, I invite you to join our Facebook group. So it'll say Mystical Institute or Monarchy Rites, Mystical Institute. So you can join, I'll accept you, and then under files you'll find this handout with instructions on how to give the rite. So in this portion of the class today, we're going to go over what the rite does for you, what it means, and then underneath or down below there's going to be a link to Vimeo where you can actually receive the rite virtually. I've received it virtually and given it virtually many times. You really only need to do it once, but I do really enjoy just meditating and listening to these activations. And I do feel a refresher, I do feel a clearing every time I tune into it. And these rites are technically given to us as seeds, and we grow our seeds by working with the energy and by returning to fire. So, I have some fun props that I want to share with you really quick. So there are these medicine men and women who have actually been struck by lightning that are considered to be able to connect with the starry realms because they've been struck by lightning 3 times, which I can't even imagine surviving something like that, but it is a very common theme in certain cultures when it comes to being able to call yourself a shaman, and they have a word for it here. And yeah, it's spelled ALTOMESAYOQS. Those who've been struck by lightning 3 times, and they make contact with the upper world and the stars and receive new and important knowledge and energy from the tops of the mountains. So I brought out these cards, the holy mountains and lightning, and I also have this amazing lightning quartz. I don't know if you can see this pathway here where this crystal has been struck by lightning. So this actually comes from Brazil, and they watch the lightning come down to the earth, and they see where it struck the earth, and then they go back and they like place little stakes in the earth so that they can come back after the storm and dig up and see if there are any crystals. And when you find one of these crystals, it has the energy of lightning. So we were just doing a fire ceremony here just the other day, and we all were cleansing what no longer serves us and any energy that was ready to move into the fire, calling the light back into us. And then, you know, using guided imagery, manifestation, visualization, prayers to bring in higher consciousness with this crystal. And I'll tell you, very miraculous things have been happening since we did that. So I had to have it with us for what we're doing here. I also have this really amazing crystal grid that I posted about earlier. And there are quite a few meteorites, tektites, moldavite, there is preonite, there are starseed quartz in there. And the starseed quartz has all of these little dots along it. And you can run your fingers over and you can see it. And those are said to be the encoded information. And then in the center, I brought in this, just because it's just so clear and it looks like an eye. Pretty incredible rainbow in it. So we're gonna have that right in the center, and it's already holding the vibration for us to bring in these Pleiadian emissaries of light and this energy. Now, what we're gonna be doing today is actually breaking this down like a shooting star directly into each one of your chakras. So it's like getting an attunement or an activation or a rite, is what they call it with the Monet key, to these stars directly. So it's different than calling in the Pleiadian light beings to come and work with you, although it helps you to be able to connect with your starry ancestors by raising your vibration and receiving this right. But this is an actual activation to the stars themselves. So if that's interesting to you, then stay tuned. And one of the other things that we're going to be talking about is this Andean cross. Okay, and they call this a shakana. And I also have it on my rattle here. And it's known as a portal. And we're going to be talking about that, working with the throat chakra and opening up this portal to the Pleiades, to the higher dimensions. Okay, so the Koto Kuna Karpay rite, we're going to be having English words, and some of the words are Peruvian. So there's the Peruvian word, and then there's the English word for each one of the stars. They each have their own name. And you may feel more connected to one or two or even three of them just by looking at a picture, just by hearing about it. As we're talking about it, one might stick out in your mind. You might have some sort of a feeling connected with it. Just pay attention to which one is stronger for you, and definitely during the activation you should feel it. When I was giving these activations to people, I could definitely heal or feel which one was incredibly powerful for them, and I would just, that's the one for them. I almost like wanted to skip over some of the others and just get to the one for them. But I never do. I always just stay with each one to make sure that the download is going in. Once you have this, you'll be able to call in the energy and the light from the Pleiades and bring it here to Earth as a bridge from these higher vibrational dimensions and the third dimensional Earth plane that we're living in. So we're going to go ahead and read the Pleiadian Stars, the Pleiadian Star Initiation, or the Koto Kuna Karpay, is very important to the Inca Q'eros of the Peruvian Andes. And it is crucial because the Pleiades star cluster, also known throughout the world as the Seven Sisters, is considered to be the home of the Incan ancestors. The star people of the Pleiades are still in contact with the Incas and regularly convey sacred knowledge and energy to its descendants. And if you haven't had an experience working with the Pleiades, they're unconditionally loving angelic beings. In metaphysics, we call them the Pleiadian emissaries of light. And I've had many, many healings, many activations with them, very positive experiences with them. They are said to be very humanoid looking, very Nordic looking. Often they're portrayed as having light skin and blonde hair and light, like blue or green eyes. Strangely enough, that's usually how they'll appear to us anyways. And they're also said to have been very tall. All right, so here it goes on to say, in fact, it is believed that most people on the earth originally came from these stars, as well as a few other important constellations such as Orion, Sirius, the Southern Cross, and others. Therefore, it is important for the Incas to maintain contact from these stars. Every star conveys its own frequency of light, and each frequency offers a separate blessing. Each person is thought to be personally connected to one or more of the Pleiadian stars as his or her place of origin. So many of us have had lifetimes off-world in the higher dimensions, and this is a way for you to remember what you learned there and be able to bring that wisdom and that energy here into this lifetime for assistance and knowledge and healing and for higher purposes. The Quechua word Koto means little star, and it refers to the stars of the Pleiades, which is the Little Dipper if you're not familiar with it. These stars collectively are seen as a huaca, or a place of power, like a sacred site. Alignments were made with temples at Machu Picchu and ancient Incan times with the Pleiades in order to create lines or ley lines or roads of energy between the temples and the light of Pleiades. So oftentimes you'll see ancient temples that are built in alignment with the star constellations, such as the pyramids. And in this case, they're talking about Machu Picchu in Peru. And this light goes into the temple and then goes into the earth, and the ley lines are like the meridian lines in the body. They are these lines of energy that carry this beautiful high frequency healing energy. I've been to many sacred sites and been able to stand on them and intuitively tune into them and feel the energy just rush up into my body when I'm standing on one of the ley lines. I've also been able to put my hand on the ley line and concentrate and send my intention into the sacred site and feel myself connecting with the portal that opens up to these higher dimensions and communicate more easily with my spirit guides, with light beings, telepathically, for me. So it's very real. I love working with ley lines. All right. I lost my place. All right, additionally, Incan shamans specifically, here's that word, Altomas Yokes. I'm not really sure how to say this. I'm probably butchering it, but it means those who've been struck by lightning 3 times. So I belong to quite a few different shamanic groups, and there's some very strong opinions in, more bringing other people's cultures to our part of the world. So if you are somebody who has light skin and light hair, and you're bringing cultures from a place where they have dark skin and dark hair, oftentimes people worry about, talking, the same lingo or the same energy or using some of these terms, unless, you've been recognized by those tribes and been through some of these experiences, such as being struck by lightning 3 times. People would ask the question, you know, what makes you a shaman? And I've heard people answer being struck by lightning 3 times. So it's just something to be mindful of, that this could be one of those things that people have really strong beliefs around, and you want to have reverence and honor and respect for other people's cultures. But the beauty of the Monaiki rites and the beauty of our starry ancestors is the Monaiki tribe itself really wants to share this, and they've been holding space for what they call the shamans of the West to be able to bring this medicine during a time of great change, which we're definitely in a time of great change. So we need this energy, and they want us to have this. So we're not really upsetting anybody, okay? Just a little bit of history on those who have been struck by lightning 3 times. So it says that they make contact with the upper world and the stars, and they receive new and important knowledge and energy at the top of these mountains, or the Apus. The Pleiadian light is transferred to the Apus in the same way as the temples through the ley lines from the star. We will be creating these ley lines of energy with each corresponding chakra of the body, so that we may be illuminated by the 7 stars in a particular way. The 7 stars will connect to the 7 energy centers, or what they call the nawis, to help recreate the auric field and raise its frequency level. This is important to help clear out old energies and bring in new ones that will assist in living from the heart and the soul. With the help of the Pleiadian family, we are given support in each aspect of our life and body part to work towards a newer and brighter future. Not only for self, but for those that you come into contact with, and for Mother Earth. So literally, your body will be like those temples and receiving the light of the Pleiades. You will become a beacon of light that will shine with renewed purpose. And I've seen it not only in myself, but in my students. I had a group of women come to my house. One of the last times I had a group here, and we did this rite. And then I didn't see them for another month or 2, and they came to a different event that I had. And when they came in, their vibration was glowing. It was so nice to have them in the space with me. Just being around us, having all received this rite in the same room, it just magnified the light in the space. It was really beautiful. So I've seen it really clear people when they have like a lot of blockages, and they will come over and spirit will show up, and they'll appear to me and they'll say, let's give them this rite, and I can see their higher self and their guides are bringing them here to receive this rite, and I'll ask them, would you like to receive the Koto Kuna Karpay rite? And the stars were just already coming. I mean, without even me really trying, it just comes right down into the body, and I just guide it in with my hand and allow this transmission to take place. And it's very similar to the Star Keeper's rites, where the person's lying down. So their head is here, this is their torso, and then their legs are here. Their legs are here. So you would reach up and you would wait until you feel this connection with the star system that you're working with and the name. And then you're gonna feel like there's this sparkly, starry stuff that comes down into your hand, and then you're just going to hold it over that particular chakra and send and transmit. And breathe and relax until you feel like that transmission is complete. It's nice when you have a lot of time and you can spend at least 5 minutes on each of the chakras or more. Lately, people have been coming over for, you know, complete reading, transmission, healing, clearing. And I use these quite a bit. They're very effective. And it's helpful to have a client go home with this energy and to be able to still work with it and have something to carry them through, especially if they're really going through a big shift in life. Because when you're in it and you're going through something and you're heavy with emotion, it's really hard to see clearly. So I found that this really gives people the clarity that they needed to really get back on track. And we'll talk about what it does. So interestingly enough, we're not going to start with the root. We're going to start with the sacral chakra, which is right below the navel. It would be where the womb would be, or the lower back, or the sacrum, that bony landmark at the base of your spine. So Pura Koto is the Peruvian name, and Asteropa is the English word for this star. And this is one of the 7 Pleiades star cluster, okay? And it's known as the twin stars, and this is why they start with this one, because they view it as being the legs and the feet. So the meaning is to move forward or to work with the flow. I always have a feeling of the water element when I'm connecting with the sacral chakra and the emotions, and there's the word flow. So it does resonate for me. And you want to think about all of the things that are there. So if this is the one that you're connecting with, part of your purpose may have to do with manifestation, with co-creation, with creativity, with sensuality, sexuality, bringing in the divine feminine, really being in touch with spiritual, emotional healing, that type of work, and being able to work with the flow. So I would imagine this energy being very empathic, very sensitive, being able to work with flow. The next one is Tarpak Koto, or Tagieta. So Tagieta is the English word, and the Peruvian word for this star is Tarpak Koto. And the meaning is to plant or to sow. So the energy is connected to the tail of the spinal column, or the base of the spine. And the energy is to support ourselves. It's a star of creativity too. So by working with the light of the star, we can awaken our hidden abilities, potentials, and skills. So if you're somebody who has a tendency to have these massive spiritual awakenings where everything shifts for you and you feel very, very enlightened all of a sudden, and you're able to have these abilities that you may not have been active with you before, spiritual abilities, energy flowing through your hands, psychic vision, intuition, being able to sense and hear spirit, that type of thing, or somebody who has spontaneous healings or gradual ones even when they're around you, and their gifts activate around you in a surprising way, this is probably one for you to awaken hidden abilities, potentials, and skills. So this is the one that I felt the strongest connection with myself. And I do work with a lot of people that when they come, I can tell when you're somebody who has that ability to awaken others, and it's not an easy path, but it is very fascinating. The third one, the Peruvian word is Nawe Koto, and the English word is Maya. And this is going to be the solar plexus, right at the navel. This star relates to our identity. It helps us to remember who we truly are and our purpose in life. So lots of people love to post in our different Facebook groups, you know, what is my starseed origin? Here's my picture. This would be a wonderful energy for you if this is something that you are curious about and you're really wanting to connect with your starry ancestors and to know what some of your off-world connections are. And there may be more than one. I think it's common to have more than one, at least for the people that I've come across in sessions, and my own personal experience, it's definitely more than one. But I've had people just really wake up to this and just feel this like recognition and have tears come to their eyes when they're receiving this energy with the Maya, because it's really helping them to remember who they are. And you know, let's face it, we're in this discovery process while we're here on the planet because of the amnesia that we go through coming here. where we're supposed to forget everything so that we can have a clean slate and we can grow again without really knowing why we're in these situations, so that we can be tested, so that we can open ourselves to remembering. I mean, you can bring these memories back if you're meant to, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I would think that this energy would really assist with all of that, with you wanting to remember. And I've gone through a lot of begging spirit to just tell me, and times when I wish that they would just stop, because it's very intense. So I can understand why, you know, they give it to you in bite-sized pieces, and I've come to trust that, and I've come to be grateful for that, because I've pushed the door wide open and had it be overwhelming, and I've also run from it and not opened it at all. So the two extremes don't really work. Somewhere in the middle works, and our guides really do know us, and they know when we're ready for some more information. But this helps you to become more ready. Okay, so the next one is the heart center, and it's Monai Koto, which is the Peruvian word, and the English word is Solano. And this star connects to the heart and the condition of love relationships. The light of this star also represents compassion. So, this energy, you know, we store so much potential in our heart space. You know, people call it, some people consider it to be more important, especially in the field of energy work, to have a really healthy, open, bright, healed heart chakra. It tends to put people at ease, and it looks like a donut. The energy comes up and out of your sacred heart space and up and around you like this. And when your heart is vibrating and it's awake and it's high vibrational and it's open, people generally react to you in a really positive way. So even if you're really smart and you're trying to figure everything out, sometimes you don't really need to. Sometimes you just need to be in your heart space. And if you're working from the heart, things work out a lot better. You know, there's a very strong wisdom in compassion and being able to feel your way through things and being able to treat people with kindness. It is the way home is through love. So it's very important if you need healing in that area, if your heart chakra, if you're somebody who has been hurt and you are, you know, not sure whether or not to open up your heart space, or you have a tendency to be a little bit shy, this would be really healing for you to be able to connect there. And if this is your one where you feel the strongest here, then you are a beautiful person to be around. Thank you. Thank you so much for all of the love that you share with the world. Okay, the world needs that. So the next one is the throat chakra. So it's I'm gonna try to say this: Longkwak Koto. That's the Peruvian word, or Electra is the English word. And this star is related to the Chicana symbol that we were talking about. And it creates bridges. It's a star that allows you to be of service with your voice, and it's connected to the throat chakra. So a lot of you are probably going to resonate with this one. This might be your main one. This might be one that you connect with also in conjunction with some of the others. These are for, you know, people who are readers or channels or speakers or singers, people who are using their voice in service to bring through spiritual information for people, for wisdom, for teachings, for just using your voice. You might even just be one of those people that everybody loves to listen to, a good storyteller, maybe even a good writer, good communicator nonetheless. So I've been healing my throat chakra for years, and I found this to be enormously helpful. And if you look at pictures where they go in microscopically and take a picture of your throat, it almost looks like you can see the opening. So this is your portal. And spirit, when you're channeling spirit, tend to connect right through the base, like this little soft spot at the base of your skull, is where you can feel, you know, you connecting when you're channeling and that type of thing. So it's a very powerful center. Electra. I love the word too. Okay, so the next one works with your third eye, and it's Elare Koto is the Peruvian word, or Maropa, which is the English word. And the key word here, what this one means is it's all about perception. This star works with our perceptions and makes these wider and more expansive. It is connected to our third eye. Now, my third eye has always been my most active chakra personally. I was really surprised when this wasn't my main one. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it was already open and already activated and I needed to work with some of the other energies, but I do love this. It is nice when we are stuck in our head. I've had a few clients come over here where they just couldn't see past where they were at and they needed some assistance. Really seeing things from a higher perspective, or seeing things from a bigger picture. So I love to work with scrying with crystals when you're trying to see things, you know, forward and backwards through time, seeing the big picture, seeing all these different ways of looking at it. And often when I'm doing my readings, that's the way that spirit brings it through. They'll show me other people's perspective, this person's perspective, and then they'll show me spirit's perspective, and then they'll let that person, you know, make their own choice. So, but sometimes we can only see our perception and we get stuck. And it's not to say that your perception is wrong. There's just more than one way of looking at something, right? So, if this one is your main one, you probably are brilliant with the way that you use your mind, and also skilled clairvoyantly, I would think, or one or the other. And if you're only one, then you might have an opportunity to open up the rest of the potential in this part of you. All right, so the next one is Koto, which is the Peruvian word, or Al Salon, and this is connected to the crown chakra, and this is all about new beginnings. So it is the energy of the divine. The star gives a blessing of pure energy. So, you know, if you are depressed, sometimes we have a tendency to close this chakra and disconnect and just stay like all snug in our cave and work through our own process, whatever that is. But when we're ready to reconnect and recommit to a new beginning and to step out of process work or shadow work or working in the underworld and go back into the cycle of new beginnings, then this is a really wonderful energy to be able to call in the new downloads and the new information and the new activation, so that you know what to do next. What is your next step, right? So this, I would say that this is a really, if this was the one that you're really strong with, then you're probably going to be downloaded with some very powerful information from the higher dimensions, from your higher self, from the wisdom that you are bringing here as a healer, as a light worker, as a shamanic practitioner, people who are wanting to write books. This is a great way to get those downloads for any kind of creative blockages that you might be having, and needing to bring in new information or needing to step out of a pattern. This is a really good one. I know that the woman who brought through this information, Bridget Rao, this is hers, and she's bringing through like a whole new healing modality. So interesting. All right, so your homework is, after you receive this, is to, you know, go out and look at the stars, look at the Little Dipper, try to see how you can actually receive downloads directly from the stars. And I can remember doing this as a child and really just, I used to love to say, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. That whole poem, I would go out there when I was a little girl. It was my favorite one, and I would just really feel them communicating with me, and I didn't know that I was going to grow up and be receiving these star rites. And that I would be able to send energy backwards and forwards through time. So I was able to send these energies to me when I was a child, when I needed it. And I remember receiving it. So you can also get apps on your phone that will help you to be able to hold it up over the star system and be able to get the names of which star you're looking at. And so one might like twinkle at you a little bit brighter and help you to know which one is most strongly connected or aligned with you. All right, so that is our class. I hope that you stay for the activation. I look forward to working with you. Bye for now.